Okay, looks like our audio is doing pretty good. Maybe a little hot. We'll turn that down. Here we are in the pre-show of GoFor Lunch number 44. Time for us to get everything working. Make sure that everything is as it should be. Okay. Thank goodness for wireless keyboards. There we go. So let's see if we can find something interesting here. That's not too interesting. And the music plays on as we look out to a cloudy southern Arizona sky. I got one at 11:50. Oh, hi there. We are unmuted. Okay, good. Welcome to GoFor Lunch number 44. We seem to have sent out the wrong link. However, if you are subscribed to our channel by clicking on the subscribe button, which is located down below my picture, then you would have gotten an email saying that we are live. So let's see how many people are subscribed. So again, very good reason to subscribe, because when Roger puts in the wrong link in the GoFor Gazette, our Monday morning newsletter, then you will still get notified. So we are getting an extensive email message or a text message from our producer, which I unfortunately am not going to be able to read because the show must go on. So thank you for finding us, those of you that have found us. Say hi, let me know who's here. So I'd like to welcome you once again, because today, well, no, I think it was yesterday, is Women's Day. So happy Women's Day. This is our Women's Day edition of GoFor Lunch. So Bob has not gotten the email yet. Yeah, you know, YouTube is notorious about not sending those emails out until after the program starts. I know mine came in at 11:50, so mine came in on time, but I know other YouTube channels that I'm subscribed to, they're 10, 15, 20, even more minutes into the program before people receive the email. But thanks for those of you that are here, and we will just keep on trucking. So today's GoFor Lunch is sponsored by questions from you. So let's talk about Apple updates. So there is a bunch of Apple updates that just came out in the last day or so. So there's updates to iOS, iPad OS, Mac OS 11.2.3, which is Big Sur, and Watch OS. So the last time we had an update, we urged you to go ahead and do it because it had a security issue that it fixed. This time we were back to our normal procedure of not updating immediately. So we recommend that you do not have automatic updates turned on either your Mac or your iOS devices, because sometimes those updates just break things. So we want to make sure that nothing's broken and the update is good to go. So let me dial back here and see what's going on. Okay, there we go. Okay, so that's the deal on updates. You might be wondering, does my device take these new updates? And the answer is yes, if you have an iPhone 6S or later, an iPad Air 2 or later, an iPad Mini 4 or later, and an iPod Touch 7th generation. So those are the compatible devices for these updates. If you have a device that's older than that, then you won't be able to update. So on our GoFor Gazette, we had a tip about keeping your MacBook cool, and the reason for that is that Some people, and this again is a question that came from one of you, have had a problem with the batteries swelling. Now you see here that this MacBook is a little bent out of shape, you might say. You can see the arch there where the keys are, and then at the bottom it's kind of in the roly-poly mode. So that's one clue. If your Mac starts tipping back and forth right to left, you may have a swollen battery. And the reason for that is that the batteries are directly underneath the trackpad, and in fact go all across the whole front of a MacBook. So when they swell, several things can happen. One is they'll get a area below the keyboard which expands so that the MacBook case is no longer flat. Another problem that you might have is that the trackpad will no longer work, or part of it will not work. So I actually had that problem on my MacBook Pro 2013, which will be joining us in a moment. And the left part of the trackpad would not work. So I sent it back to Apple. I believe it cost $200, and they replaced the battery. So now I have a new battery and much extended life on that MacBook Pro. So that is the story there. And does anybody have any questions about that? So we're going to talk about how you might be able to prevent that here in just a second. So we will go ahead and keep on trucking. So this ties into managing the power on your MacBook. So when I say MacBook, I am talking about the MacBook, the MacBook Air, and the MacBook Pro. So when I say MacBook, that covers any laptop made by Apple. So we recommend that at least once a week you unplug your power from your MacBook. In other words, do not keep your MacBook plugged in all the time, because that could be contributing to the battery swelling. It also contributes to the life of the battery being shortened. So batteries do not like to be charged continuously. They like to exercise. And so you can exercise it by letting it run completely on the battery and not on AC about once a week. Now, if you're normally taking it in the living room or taking it outside in the patio, as we will soon be doing, then you're okay. But if you're not in the habit of moving it from your office desk, get in the habit of doing that once a week, and you'll be glad you did. So one of the ways to try to prevent this overheating problem is to put it on a stand, and we will be demonstrating that in just a moment. Another way to prevent those problems is not to put it on a soft surface like your couch or a pillow or something like that, because that causes the heat to build up and not dissipate. So let's talk about ways. So if you're going to use it like you're sitting on the couch or your favorite chair, use a lap desk so that it doesn't have a soft surface that it is resting on. So let's see about what we could do there. So here is our simulated desk, and as you can see, this is my MacBook 2013 with a new battery, and it is on this very nice aluminum stand that I got from Amazon. It cost, I think, $13. So not very expensive solution. And then right here we have a lap desk. So this particular lap desk has a surface here for the MacBook, a slot here which you can put a iPad in without a case, over here we have a place to put your iPhone, and then down here some nice wrist rests, and of course a little tab here so that you can see that there, so that your MacBook doesn't slide off. And of course the bottom is nice soft material that would be resting on your leg. So that's one solution. Now there are hundreds of lap desks on Amazon and other places. So there are some that have padding on the bottom like that. There are some that have a surface and then they have legs that come down. So this can be handy in several cases if you're sitting in or laying in bed, and you could just, it's kind of like a breakfast in bed tray. It has legs, so it brings up the laptop about, I don't know, 10 to 14 inches. That can also be handy if you're doing a presentation or you're standing and needing to look at your laptop. Then that will bring up the laptop so you're not, doing this angle down. So another laptop stand that I have is this little guy here. You can see in a nice suede-like case with drawstrings, and we just put it up here and slip it out. So this, again, like the other one here that I have that's more rigid, has nice silicone padding here. So this would be the bottom, and so places where the laptop or the MacBook is going to touch are protected, so you won't mar the finish of the laptop. So this is made for portable use, so if you are moving around with your MacBook, you can just slip this into the case. It's obviously not going to take up much room. And to use it, you just pull it apart like that, snaps into place, and then you can lift it up like this, and you can see the little leg coming out, and it's kind of like a little game here. You can just plop that right in. So you see there's different little slots here to adjust the height. So this is the highest height, and this will also be good for Zoom meetings because it would bring your camera on built into your MacBook, what, about 6 or 7 inches higher than normal, which would alleviate that up the nose look that we don't want to see on a Zoom meeting. So then you can get it to a typing height by putting it in the furthest slot like that. So that would be the way you would have it normally on your desk. So again, you're getting air circulation under here so that it can keep as cool as possible. Now, and then of course to close it, you would, I think we need to put a little silicone or something on that to loosen it up. And then pop it back in the case, pop it in your laptop bag, and off you go. So that is another solution. They do have stands that actually have electric fans in them. Now, the fans on older MacBooks tend to start up with hardly any load on them. And again, this is all about that heat not being able to be dissipated because somebody who was knighted by the Queen wanted things to be so thin that there's just not sufficient room inside the MacBook case to dissipate that heat. So those fans are running constantly. So that can be a problem. And the rumors are that newer MacBooks that are coming with M1 chips will have a little more room in there. They won't be so thin because that way you can put in bigger batteries, and you can also okay, so two things. Number one, they'll be bigger. Number two, the M1 chip runs cooler than the Intel chips, so that's another thing that you got going for us. So now, excuse me, back to our regularly scheduled program, and that is talking about desktop spaces, also known as mission control. So let's talk about mission control, shall we? So we are going to demonstrate this by going to our desktop. So here we are on our desktop with a behind-the-scenes look at our video production. And you can see we got all this stuff here. You see all these windows in the background. And, you know, it's just quite a mess. So what Mission Control does for you is it creates additional desktops, almost like having additional screens. Now this is especially important if you're running a MacBook with a 13-inch screen, even a 15 or 16-inch screen. If you only have one screen to work with, then that can be a problem as far as getting organized. So by making additional desktops, you can have a separate desktop for each thing you're working on. So the way we get to mission control is we hit the control key and the up arrow. So there we are. So now we can see all of our windows nice and spread out. Now I do have a 29-inch widescreen monitor here, so if that looks like there's a lot of space, that's because there's a lot of space. And up here, if I move my cursor up to the very top, you see I have exposed 5 desktops. Now only one of them is in use, desktop number 1, and so I can take these different programs that I have open and assign them to their own desktop. So this is better than minimizing them with a little orange button in the upper left hand corner of your windows, which would make them come down into your dock there on the far right side. So here's a spreadsheet. So we want to work on this spreadsheet, but we want to give it its own desktop space. So we just drag it up here to desktop number 2. So there it is in desktop number 2. Now we have our mail. So here's our mail. Well, we like to check on our mail, but we don't want to see it when we're working on something else, so we're going to put that in desktop number 3. We're simply dragging and dropping. And then over here we have an Amazon page from Safari. We'll put that in desktop number 4. And here we have Apple TV promo. We'll throw that in desktop number 5. So now when I click on desktop number, well, we'll start from 5 and work backwards. So here we go. This is now just dedicated to one function, watching Apple TV. Now if I want to switch between desktops, there's several ways to do this. Number 1, hold down the control key, and because we're on number 5 desktop, we would hit the left arrow, and now we're on number 4 desktop. If we want to keep going, we hit the left arrow again, and now we're on number 3 desktop, reading our mail. And now if we want to work on our spreadsheet, say you have your taxes here that you're working with on and off, then you can go to that desktop, but it's not in your way when, for example, you might be reading your mail. So we can just go to our mail here, and do anything that we want to do, like find out about danger. So that's the way desktops work. But wait, there's more. So I can also switch desktops by just clicking in the dock on the app that I want to work with. So if I click on Numbers, we go to the desktop where Numbers is residing. If I want to go to Safari, we click on Safari in the dock and we get that desktop. And of course, if I want to go to Mail, same deal. So you can switch desktops either by using your Control key and your left and right arrows. You can also click on the app in the dock. But wait, there's even more. So if you hold down the Command key and hit the Tab key, you see all of your active applications. And I'm not sure that you're seeing that actually. Let me double check here by going back to Ecamm. And yes, you are seeing that, I think. So then once you hit Command and Tab, then by hitting Tab again, still holding down your Command key, you can tab through the active applications. There's Numbers, there's Keynote, Text Expander, Finder, and our Ecamm video production software. You can also hit the key in the upper left-hand corner that has the tilde on it and go the other way. So if you hit that, you go from right to left. If you hit the Tab key all the time holding down the Command key, you go from right to left. So you see how that works? So that in a capsule look is mission control and desktop spaces. So let's see if we have any questions about that. And we have Phil and Phyllis with us. Welcome. And Judy is also here. So thank you everybody for finding me, even though the link in the Gopher Gazette was wrong. I don't know how I did that, but I will be extra specially careful next week and make sure that link is there. So Susan asks, or says, comments, that she's seen things go into another desktop without my knowing. I think I've lost an email or whatever I'm working on. What am I doing to cause that? So that is a great question, Susan. So desktops. Now I was using, I was manipulating desktops here with just a regular old Apple corded mouse. If you have a, let's see if I can get this to stand up here. If you have a Bluetooth Magic Mouse, then this surface is sensitive and you can get into your desktop by sliding around here on the surface. I don't know that we can show that if I don't have a trackpad attached. But let's jump into System Preferences and let's go to Trackpad, and there it is. And it's not letting me do it because I don't have a trackpad. So let's pretend like we have a trackpad. Oh look, we do have a trackpad. Unfortunately, it's connected to a different computer. So on a trackpad, you can slide between desktops with 3 fingers. You can also set it to do it with 4 fingers. And then you can also slide up, I believe, to get up to the same position. So here I'm doing a Command up arrow, and then I slide my cursor, and there's my desktop. So if you do get in a situation where you lose a window, that would be the way that you could find it again. Now, once you're done with all these desktops, you can see there's a little X in a circle in the upper left-hand corner, and you would simply click on the X, and now that desktop is gone. If you click on another desktop, then that brings it up full screen, and hopefully that answers your question. Any other questions? So, okay, so Doriana, have you ever tried desktops? It might help you. So, and then you wouldn't have to minimize all those windows. You could just use your control up arrow to get to your desktop, click on the desktop, and have everything in its place. And Jean says that she may need some more training. Well, remember, of course, this video, like all of our videos, is on our YouTube channel that you can go back and watch anytime. So, yeah, you don't need a trackpad. Well, you do have a trackpad on your MacBook, but you're using a Magic Mouse. So when you go into System Preferences and click on the mouse, it will show you little videos about how your movements of the Magic Mouse will do that. I'm sorry I can't demonstrate that here, but if you have any questions, of course, you know how to get a hold of me. And Doriana is going to have fun working with mission control and having multiple desktops. So again, thank you everybody for joining. I'll wait for see if we have any other questions about anything. By subscribing, you got notified that we were live, hopefully in time, and so that's a very good reason to subscribe. And also, please share the link to our broadcast when you get the Gopher Gazette every Monday morning. Send that on to somebody else, a friend, a neighbor, a relative, anybody that uses Apple products. We'd like to help more people. So, very good. I don't see any other questions. And Jean is going to go back and look at the YouTube channel for this and many other videos that we try to do to help you out. So, see you next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. Have a great day.